The golden halls of the Illyrian kingdom stood quiet that evening. For years the sound of laughter had been missing from those walls. Once the voices of two young princesses had filled the palace with joy, but then they were taken, stolen in the night by raiders from a rival world. The queen had searched endlessly, sending armies, envoys, and spies, but nothing ever brought her daughters back. Only grief remained. The queen carried her crown with dignity, but her heart had been hollowed. And then, after a decade of silence, something impossible happened. A messenger ran into the throne room with trembling hands and bowed deeply. "My queen," he said, breathless, "a human has arrived, and he carries news of the lost princesses." The queen, who had learned long ago not to hope, felt her heart jolt in her chest. She rose from her throne with a sudden sharpness that startled even the guards. "Bring him here. Now." The gates opened. A tall figure entered, armored not in gold or jewels like Illyrian knights, but in the worn steel of a human soldier. His face was tired, scarred by years of conflict, but his eyes burned with a strange determination. Behind him, under heavy cloaks, stood two figures, fragile, trembling, and yet holding themselves with the quiet grace of royalty. The queen's breath caught in her throat. Her eyes blurred with tears before she could speak. She stepped forward, her crown heavy upon her head, and whispered, "My daughters." The cloaked figures lowered their hoods. There they were, older now, changed by years of captivity, but unmistakable. The first, with hair the color of dawnfire, carried the calm strength of a leader. The second, her eyes shining like silver water, reached out with a trembling hand. "Mother," she whispered. The queen did not walk, she ran. For the first time in 10 years, she fell to her knees and embraced them. Her tears fell freely on their shoulders, and their cries echoed through the throne room like the return of sunlight after endless night. But after the first embrace, the queen lifted her gaze to the human who had brought them home. She stood, still holding her daughters close, and demanded softly, "Tell me who you are. Tell me how you did this." The man bowed his head respectfully. "My name is Marcus Kane. I was once a soldier in your enemies' ranks. I saw what they did to your children. I saw how they used them as pawns, how they kept them locked in the dark, hoping to break their spirits. But they never broke." His voice shook as he continued. "I could not stand by. I deserted their army. I swore to bring your daughters home, even if it cost me my life." The queen studied him carefully. Humans were not trusted in her kingdom. They were seen as reckless, dangerous creatures who fought without honor. Yet here was one who had done what none of her knights could. He had crossed enemy worlds, fought through fortresses, and carried her daughters back. Her eldest daughter spoke softly, confirming his words. "Mother, he saved us. When we had given up hope, he told us that home still waited. He fought for us when no one else would." Her younger daughter added, "We would not be standing here without him." The queen's heart ached. She turned to Marcus again. "And why human? Why risk everything for daughters that were not your own?" Marcus's jaw tightened. "Because I lost my own family long ago. I could not save them. When I found your daughters, I saw the chance to do for them what I could not do for my own. No mother should live with that silence. No daughters should grow up in chains. I thought, if I could bring them back, perhaps it would mean something." The throne room fell silent. Soldiers and nobles who had once distrusted humans now lowered their heads in respect. The queen, still trembling with emotion, stepped closer. She placed a hand over her heart, then upon his scarred shoulder. "You have returned to me what I thought was lost forever," she said. "No gold, no title, no army could ever repay this gift. You will not be remembered here as a stranger or as an enemy. You will be remembered as the one who gave a mother back her children." Her daughters both held Marcus's hands tightly, as though they refused to let him drift away into the shadows. And in that
Welcome
moment,
to Kingdom
the
Story.
Queen made her decision.
Glowing star.
You will stay in
This
Elyria.
is the
place where stories are not just told,
not as a prisoner,
they touch the heart,
nor as a guest,
here,
but as
every
one of
tale
us.
takes you into a world of
Marcus
kings and
bowed,
queens,
his voice
battles
quiet.
and sacrifices.
I came only
love
to
and
return
destiny.
what was stolen.
If you want
I
stories
did not
that can make you
expect a
feel
place
deeply,
here.
move your soul,
And yet
and
the
stay in
Queen
your memory,
replied firmly,
then this
"You
channel
have
is for
won."
you.
That
Sparkle
night,
subscribed
the
to
palace
Kingdom
was
Story
alive
now,
with light
because
again.
every story
Bells
here is
rang
more than
through
just
the kingdom,
words, declaring the
kingdom
return
of
of the
emotions.
princesses.
Join us,
Citizens
and
gathered
be
in
part
the
of the
streets,
royal journey.
cheering and weeping as they saw the silhouettes of their long-lost royals on the balcony beside their mother. The Queen, radiant though still tear-stained, raised her daughter's hands high for all to see. The people roared their joy into the sky. Behind them, Marcus stood in the shadows, watching. He had been a wanderer, a soldier without a flag. Now, for the first time in years, he felt something like belonging. The eldest princess turned and called him forward.
"You will not hide. Stand with us."
He hesitated. Humans had never stood on that balcony, never been cheered in Elyria. But when he stepped forward, the cheers only grew louder.
Not for a human. Not for an enemy.
For the man who had defied fate and brought the royal daughters home. And in the years that followed, Marcus Kane's name became legend. The Queen ruled with newfound light, her daughters at her side, and at the edge of every tale, one truth remained. When the crown was heavy with grief and the kingdom had lost all hope, it was a human, scarred, weary, and determined, who carried the daughters back home. And for that, Elyria would never forget him.